Good morning, everyone. Go ahead, grab a seat. Barry's knocking people down. Barry's knocking people down. Go ahead, guys. If there's a seat at the table, feel free to take a seat at the table. Or not. Yeah, there you go. Hey, that was Valerie's song, by the way. Last song was Valerie's song. All right, be my man in this. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming out today. We have an amazing meeting lined up for you. Before we get started, we normally kick it off with tell me something good, but there are a lot of new faces in the room. So if this is your first or second time to the team meeting, you mind raising your hand really quick? Okay, I see 3, and I know Marissa, and then, okay, so real quick, let's go with Jane. Jane, this is your first time in the meeting, correct? And who invited you?
Tom.
Tom, Dave, awesome. Glad to have you here, Jane. And introduce yourself.
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
And Johnny Jagan.
Yay! And then Jerry. Well, who invited you? We're here, we're gonna do. Okay, we got. Look at all be here. So before we get into the meeting, I do want to touch on a couple of things. Let's look at. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at some upcoming events. So today we're going to have Derek speak. Right, Derek, to me speaking. Yeah, Tom is super excited. He's like, "Oh, Derek, how did you get Derek? You know, he's a legend. He flew in all the way from Idaho, everybody. So give him a round of applause, really quick." So Derek's going to speak in just a short minute, and then I want to remind you all that you're going to be having AI training over at PCAR. It's free. It's 100% free. We're flying this guy out from the Carolinas. He's a legend. He spoke at shareholders at EXP, and he was the favorite. He was the fan favorite. So if you don't know what AI is, if you don't know how to use ChatGPT or any of the other like 50+ AI tools out there, highly recommend you attend this and just learn. You don't have to use it, just learn. Stay relevant in our industry. And that's happening next Thursday at PCAR. And then afterwards, you're going to have a lunch where it's a private meet and greet with this guy. You get to ask him some personal questions, and lunch is free. So if you'd like more information on that, reach out to myself, reach out to Tom, reach out to Drew. We're happy to help you there. And then, of course, at the end of this month, the Mix and Mingle. A few people have been to this. Have you been to this before, Micah? I think you've been. Valerie's been. Barry's been. What do you guys think? Was it a good time?
It was a great time. Just watch which shelf you order your drinks off of.
Yeah.
They get increasingly more expensive.
Yeah, the higher up, the more expensive, frame of reference. But last time we did this at the Mix, we had over 1,000 people register. The line was out the venue, around the corner and down the block. So if you'd like a ticket, please register and show up on time or early, because it's going to be a good time. It's a great opportunity to meet vendors, lenders, other industry professionals, local business owners, and just other people in our community. Like there's nurses, there's doctors, there's lawyers that attend these things, and they're just looking to meet people. And so if you want to expand your influence, highly recommend you check out Next Mingle at the end of this month. Okay, it's free to get in. Fun fact too, we're going to have a blackjack table. So if that's your thing, we're going to have a blackjack table, and we are also going to have a guy there hand rolling cigars. So if that's your thing, cool. If not, don't worry about it. You don't have to partake, but it's going to be a good time. With that, that's all I have. Any questions on the upcoming events? Good.
Thank you for putting it on.
Yeah, amen. You're welcome. Happy to do it. Our next speaker, before we get to the keynote, is going to be the lender update by JJ Mack. Everybody, welcome to the front of the room.
Hey guys, so nice to see you again. I'm JJ Mack. I work with American Pacific Mortgage. If you don't already know, I'm a branch manager. Been doing business for 14 years now. Got about 26 loan officers over there, and we got about 5 staff currently. And you know, I also do loans. And so one of the things I wanted to share with you guys today is, I wanted to ask a question actually. Have you guys ever had a situation where you've got a referral or somebody called you, you didn't really want to work with that client because maybe the purchase price was just too small, or maybe it was just, I don't know if it's going to work out. He wants to look at properties 2 hours away. Anybody had something like that? Yeah. Or
Says the pastor.
Well, I had one of those a couple months ago, and I decided to take it on. And a guy called me, he said, I was referred to you, and he said, I want to buy a mobile home for $80,000. I thought, oh my gosh, these are a lot of work, and I don't know. But I said, you know what? It's okay. I want to help out. It's my job. It's my duty as a loan officer to make this happen for you. So did it. Did take some time, take some energy, and hey, we can do mobile homes. So if you guys didn't know that, we do mobile homes. You're 5% down minimum. So let us know if you can help with that. But anyway, we took this guy on. We helped him out. We got it done. And then what happened afterward was the coolest thing. He was so happy. He was so thrilled. He went through all these different lenders, and he called us and he said, hey, you guys did such a great job for me. My brother's looking to buy a home, and I want to send it to you. And his brother owned a big business, and he bought a house that was over $1 million. Wow. So I want to share with you guys something that's just so important. Our job and what we do is so important to the people that we need to help. So always make sure that you're taking these people on. And if it's something that you just don't feel like you can do, let's find somebody that can do it. And then one of the other things I wanted to share with you about this is if you have a credit challenge situation, a credit challenge borrower, what we can do at our office is take those people on, and I will pay for their credit repair. So if you have somebody that needs help with that, we're going to have them pay for it initially, but at the close of escrow of the home, we're going to credit them back for all the money they spent. It's usually about $1,200 or $1,300. I'm happy to chip it in with you guys if you want to do 50-50, or I'll just pay for the whole thing. But if you have somebody, don't let them go. Let's put them in a situation where they can buy a home. Let's do our service as realtors and loan officers to get them into homes as well. So yeah, and if you guys ever have anything that you want me to share with you in these meetings, feel free to reach out to myself or Johnny. Tom.
One thing I'd like you to share is I'm actually going to do a video today on the current market update. And I'm going to share the market update. And yes, interest rates are a little bit higher, but if you're a buyer, this is what it means to you. So can you finish that sentence? So if you're a buyer out there, I'm putting you on the spot. If you're a buyer out there, what does this mean to you? Yes, inventory is low. And because of that, some people are sitting on the fence whether they want to buy or not. So the smart buyers are making a move forward to buy homes. Yep. But what other things? Maybe someone else can help.
Well, I think, Tom, you're right. And it's whatever they're doing currently is, I'm guessing they're probably renting. Yeah. And so if you're renting, you're just throwing away your money. And what interest rate is that? 100%, right? So you'd rather pay 100% interest or 7% interest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things you can mention too, just transitioning homes too, is that the average growth rate, depending on the area, is around 3.7% of depreciation. So you can factor that into the interest rate, and it covers the interest rate. What it really does.
Yeah.
3.7. Yeah, you can look it up. I Googled it just the other day because I have somebody interested. So.
And remember, that's a leverage.
There we go.
Are you going for one of the programs that you're seeing the best to kind of combat the 7%? Are you doing like 3-2-1s? Are you doing 40 years? What are you seeing that's helping the monthly, which is all of us what we're running into, right? Is everyone paying $5,000 a month to go for a $400,000 house?
Yep.
It just doesn't make sense. You know, that's where I'm right there with Tom. Like, how can I, talk my way out of that one?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's coming to that, right? A lot of these buyers are saying, I really want to buy a house, but a $400,000 house is going to cost me $5,000. Really? I can't do that. And so what we're doing a lot of is the 2-1 buy downs is a big thing right now. It's kind of coming back in the market. We are seeing seller credits to help pay for interest rate buy downs. And then what we're also doing is we're saying, okay, look, if you have an interest rate today at 7%, let's look at, instead of putting down the 10% or the 15% you were going to do, let's pay off some of your debt. Because if we can pay off your car loan, or pay off some of your credit cards, that's going to be a much greater clip of dollars every single month in that mortgage.
That's good.
So if we can use some of your money to pay off some debt versus just throwing it all to the mortgage.
Say, but overall.
Frozen.
It's only you're gonna get a look. Right?
Low from the credit report, yeah. Mhm. So, but yeah, great question, man. And everybody's different, obviously, but I think, and thanks so much, Tom. If you guys ever want to talk about anything like that or anything else you want me to present about, super happy to go through that. Spend some time on it, prepare for it, and bring it over here as well.
Love it. What's your best phone number, JJ?
916-390-2463. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling JJ Mack.
you,
All
guys.
right. Good stuff. All right. So now that we've had the lender update, you know the events that are going to be happening in front of this thing. So now you know. Wait. We have a preferred vendor in the room. All right. So stand up, Jen. Tell us about yourself and who you work for.
Then Finley, North American Home Services, and we are soon switching over to the Good Life Inspection.
Yay.
Same company, same great faces, same great inspector, service, everything. It's just we have 3 other sister companies with the Good Life name, so we might as well bring North Americans with their sister companies and all together. So new colors, new logos, so just look for us. We're gonna be doing a lot of social media stuff soon. So,
Wonderful. And how do we get a hold of you if we want to order a home inspection? Yeah.
916-833-3531.
All right. That's Jen.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, everybody. Now let's welcome to the front of the room, Derek. Everybody, please welcome Derek.
All right, so let's just get straight into it. So first off, I want to thank Brent and Johnny for allowing me to come here to hear myself speak. That's what I like to do the most of, so I appreciate it so very much. You know, Johnny reached out to me and said, okay, with all your years of coaching experience, what do you want to talk about when you come down here? And I said, I want to talk about profit, mindset, and skill set. Profit, mindset, and skill set. Well, what I forgot was we like to make an acronym out of everything. You belong to the NER, you belong to PCAR, you have a CRS. Well, originally the email came out, said guest speaker from Idaho is going to talk about PMS. Profit, mindset, skill set. I said, John, you might want to change that. I think it's going to affect attendance here today. So I'm not going to be talking about all that. I'm going to talk about what I feel is the #1 thing that separates the good from the great, and that's mindset. Now, the benefit I have is of being a professional coach. I get to coach people from all different brands and brokerages, all different production levels for over a decade now. And the benefit is I get to see behind the curve of what's really going on, and not just with systems and models and marketing, what's really going on right here. And what's really going on up here. And I can honestly tell you from all that experience that what separates the good from the great is mindset. The #1 agent in your MLS is no better than anybody else. They just think differently than everybody else. Now, in the last 3 years, ever since COVID, especially in our industry in the last year, let's be open and honest and vulnerable. Anybody take a little bit of a mindset hit in the last couple of years? I know I have. Right? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get real and get right. This is not going to be your fluffy, rah-rah, jump up and down, massage each other's back, little motivational thing. We're going to get real and get right. We're going to talk technically and tactically. Technically, how is mindset formed? How do thoughts become beliefs? And tactically, what can you do about it? It's not, I hope things get better, because hope is not a business plan. Would you agree? It's what can you do? And you might as well write this down now. I'm going to say this about 14 times a day. Control the controllables. Control the controllables. We focus so much on the things that we can't control. We focus on interest rates. We focus on inventory. What's going on overseas? What the heck is that other agent doing? We can't control that. We got to control the controllables, right? So we're going to get real and get right. So turn to your neighbor and say, this is going to get awkward.
This is gonna get awkward.
Turn to the other neighbor and say, and I like it. All right, if you're writing, get ready to write. If you're typing, get ready to type, because there is no PowerPoint, there's no handouts. When I was practicing the speech in the hotel this morning, I realized I have 3 hours of information to give you in 30 minutes. I've already had 3 Red Bulls, and this is how this is going to go down. All right, so get ready to go. So research shows that mindset comes from 3 different things. Once again, I encourage you to please write these down. Number one is nature. Nature is basically how you were born. Your DNA, your genes, it's basically the way you were hardwired. Number two is nurture. Nurture has to do with all the things that were in your world during those very formative years growing up. Has to do with your parents, your guardians, your coaches, spiritual leaders, mentors, the friends that you hung around with during those very formative years of your life. And number three is your current environment. And your environment involves everything in your world. So out of nature, nurture, and your environment, there's only one of them we can control and only one we can change over time. Which one is that? Which one? Environment. So a lot of times when people think about their environment, they think their environment is this table, this room, the trees, just those material things around them. I want you to think about all the modalities. And modalities are basically your senses. Visual. What are you seeing every day? What are you seeing on TV? What are you seeing on the computer? What are you seeing when you're reading a book? What are you seeing on social media? What are you seeing on TikTok? Audio. What are you listening to? What are you listening to on a podcast, on TV, on social media, on the radio? What do you hear other people saying? What do you hear yourself saying to yourself? Feeling. How are you feeling? You feeling energized and empowered every day? Or are you anxious and jealous? All of those involves your environment. Now, I want you to think of this. Input. Every one of those is input. What you see is input. Everything you hear is input. Anything you experience is input. So if you're writing things down, input equals a seed. So you're a seed, S-E-E-D, a seed. So your brain is fertile soil. Your brain is fertile soil. It does not care what you plant in it. You can plant a seed of corn. You can plant some nightshade. It will grow either one. One can feed you and one will kill you. Your brain doesn't care. So anytime you see something, hear something, experience something, you're planting a seed. And every time that seed is that input is repeated, duplicated, or supported, it's like watering and fertilizing that seed. And the more you water and fertilize that seed, it starts to grow roots. Then that seed starts to become an idea. The more you water and fertilize it, now that idea becomes a belief. You water and fertilize it more, the roots grow deeper, and now it becomes a deeply rooted belief. And that deeply rooted belief starts to affect our behaviors. And it starts to affect our habits. And our habits is what creates our future. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
We are all walking, talking creatures of habit. And where does it all start from? It starts from the input. It starts from it being watered and repeated, growing those deep roots. Now, I'm a coach, not a counselor. We're not going to talk about what happened in the past. We can't change the nature. The nurture is in the past. We can't change anything beyond today. But what can we do? We can change our environment starting today. So I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, you're planting seeds in there. Turn to the other neighbor and say, so am I. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to write this out. I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm going to give you a number of challenges today. That's the hip thing to do, is to have a challenge. So write down challenge. Go ahead. Challenge, highlight it, underline it. It'll be a simple challenge. It's only going to be a 7-day challenge. It's not going to be, like 75, because that'd be too hard. Unless you're Tom Davis. I know he busted out at 75, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to do an environment audit. If you have someone come in and audit your books, like accounting, they come in and they look at every single line. They validate every single line when they're auditing your books. I want you to do an environment audit for the next 7 days. I want you to become hyper aware. What are you seeing every single day? What are you seeing on TV? What are you seeing on your phone? What are you seeing other people doing? Audio. What are you listening to? What is the podcast? Is it on TV? Is it on your phone? On the computer? What you're hearing in the office? What are you hearing other people say at work? What do you hear other people say in a home? What do you hear you saying to yourself? I want you to become hyper aware of each and every one of those, because you're either planting new seeds or you're watering and fertilizing the seeds from the past that you wish were never there. So you need to do that environment the environment audit. So when you do the environment audit, you know, in coaching, we talk about you analyze, strategize, and take action. Please write that down. Analyze, strategize, and take action. Well, the number one thing to separate the good from the great are those who take action. You can have a great plan. You have a great plan and you have big goals and you got the, you got the vision board on the refrigerator. That's cool. But there's a big cavern between where you're at, here's your goals, there's a big cavern, the bridge that goes across is taking action. There's agents out there that are not as good as you. They're just taking the action and more consistently. So when you do that environment audit, I want you to think about, I want you to think about plus, equals, and a minus. So you say, okay, every time I listen to this podcast, it energizes me. And I feel more positive and I want to take action. Great, you might want to plus it and do more of it. There may be something like a read. Say, hey, I read 30 minutes every day. And it's really good for me and my soul. Yet right now, I don't see how I get more time in, but I know I need to maintain it. So what do I need more of in my environment? What do I need to make sure that I maintain? And then, yes, let's get real. What do we need to limit or what do we need to eliminate? If you get on Facebook and once you start getting on Facebook, you feel jealous, and anxious and not worthy, then maybe we need a little bit less of that. Would you agree?
Where would Barbie and Taylor Swift fit in? I'm just kidding.
Don't get me in trouble on camera. Come on. Right? All right. So once again, we got to get real sometimes. What is it less of? Think of all the modalities. I need to see a little less of this. I need to hear a little bit less of this. Everything else. Taste, right? Maybe I need to eat a little less of this, drink a little less of this, right? We need to think about all of them. They are all part of our environment. Control the controllables. Once again, if you didn't write down, control the controllables. All right. Who would like, so can you see how your environment can affect your mindset now and over time? Would you agree? Yeah. All right, who would like to take this concept and 10x it? Anybody say aye? Aye. All right, nice. All right, this is what we're gonna do. May I have permission to tell you a little childhood story? Sure. Okay, cool. So whenever I was a kid, I don't know, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I had a massive speech impediment. I had a massive lisp, which, a Philly Valley and a funny fee for. I was that kid. And I don't know who doctor named something. You can't say your S is lisp. You have the condition, you can't even say it. Anyway, so I was a triple threat. I was short, redheaded, and I couldn't talk. What do you think my childhood was like? So I can remember the days on the school playground, all the kids circled around. There's this short redheaded kid who couldn't talk, and they're shoving the kid into each other and shoving him on the ground and making fun of him because he couldn't talk. That was me. And the strange thing about me is when I dream in black and white. And when I have a nightmare, it's in color. And every time I think of those days, it's in color. And we went to counselors and speech therapists and hearing specialists, and we could never figure it out for years and years and years. So we went to this one speech therapist, and ironically, he was a redhead. And he said, okay, so whenever you're talking, your tongue's in the wrong place. And I said, yeah, no kidding. Keeping it clean. I said, no kidding, because my parents were sitting there, okay? So I said, yeah, no kidding. He goes, okay, so this is what I want you to do. When you go to bed at night, I want you to take this little rubber band like we used to use for like braces and stuff. Take this little rubber band, put it on the tip of your tongue, hold it on the roof of your mouth, and as you fall asleep, I want you to think, hold this there till morning, hold this there till morning, hold this there till morning, and do it for about 60 days and then come back and see me. And I remember driving home, my dad, he's going, oh my God, I can't believe we paid this quack $12 to talk to yourself and everything. $12, it was a while ago, right? So I remember sitting in my little race car bed and my mom was sitting there and I had a rubber band, hold on the roof of my mouth. And I was thinking, And then the next morning, I don't know, I think I swallowed it because we never did find it. And then the next couple of days, I'd wake up and it would be stuck to the side of my face or in a pool of drool or something. And then on the morning, like 8 or 9, I woke up after 8 hours of sleeping and it was still there. And about 80% of the time after that, it would still be there first thing in the morning. And over time, the list went away. And I went from the kid who couldn't talk to someone who now gets paid to talk for a living. Thank you. And all right, so what was that voodoo magic? What was the voodoo magic this doctor knew? He knew about something that every single person in this room has. He just knew how to tap into it. Reticular activating system. Please write it down. Reticular activating system. How to spell it? Ask this to you. She'll know. So it's RAS. The RAS is about the size of your fingernail. It's at the base of your brain, and it's basically a filter. And it filters out what is not important, only allows what it believes important in. There's about 2 million bits of information a second. There's this guy up here waving his arms. Bird flew by. Information, you can only handle about 126 bits a second. So the RAS filters out everything so your brain doesn't shut down from overload. So you have no idea what car. You leave at lunch and I said slug bug and I punched you in the arm, you would say, oh, there's a Volkswagen there, there's one over there, there's one on the overpass, there's one 3 cars behind me. You'd see them everywhere, wouldn't you? Yeah. They were there before. Your RAS wasn't looking for it. Your RAS found them because you did that. It goes, ow, that hurts. Where I'm looking for Volkswagens, that must be important. I'm going to find them everywhere. They were there before, you didn't find them. How about listings? Have you activated the listing? You're out there, but once you activate that RAS, you're going to see them everywhere, just like the Volkswagen bugs. Right? It's just like you want that one-of-a-kind car that doesn't exist anywhere, and that one-of-a-kind color. Once you get that car, what do you see everywhere? You see that car, right? And if you're pregnant, you know what do you see everywhere? Yeah, chocolate cake, exactly. So once you activate your RAS, you will find what you're looking for. Here's the key. Your RAS is its strongest as you're going from subconscious to consciousness, or consciousness to subconsciousness. The RAS is strongest as you're waking up or you're falling asleep. So as that little kid was falling asleep, said, hold it there till morning, hold it there till morning. The RAS said, hold it there till morning. As we're falling asleep, must be important. I'm going to think it all night long. That's why it was still there first thing in the morning. So here's the question. What are you thinking of as you fall asleep? That you're thinking of for the next 8 or 9 hours? I'm sorry, your realtors, the next 4 or 5 hours. Because if you're falling asleep, thinking about all the things that didn't go good today, you're thinking about the struggles you had 10 years ago, you think about the struggles that you may have tomorrow, you're thinking about that all night long. How can you possibly wake up in a good mood when you're thinking about that? Are you watching negative news as you're falling asleep? Are you looking at social media in bed going, I'm not worthy? You're thinking that all night long. It's the same thing as you wake up as well. Anybody ever use music to wake up to? Anybody? You know, the number gets smaller every year, okay? So if you have music to wake up to, the music comes on, you just, for a couple seconds, you reach over and you smash the snooze. That song was only on for a couple seconds, but what happens? You hear that song all day long. You wake up, the RAS goes, oh, the first thing I'm hearing in the morning is 24 karat, so I'm just going to think this all day long. You need to be hyper aware of what you're thinking as you're falling asleep and as you're waking up as well. How many of you use this as an alarm clock? Go ahead, raise your hand. How many use this alarm clock? All right, here's some advice. Stop it! Just stop it. You want to know why? You wake up, you roll over, and you go straight to email. Oh, it's in a praise. Oh, there's water in the crawl space. Oh, they countered this. Oh, he used somebody else. chaos, 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 chaos. The Raz says, oh, chaos is the first thing I'm thinking about. I'm the rest of the day, I'm gonna go find more chaos. Or you roll over. The first thing you do is roll over, you go to social media. Oh, look at her perfect life. Oh, look at his perfect wife. Oh, they got another boat. Oh, she got 4 closings last month. Oh, they're on vacation again. Oh, I'm not worthy. If you wake up and your Raz says, oh, I'm not worthy, the first thing they're thinking of, this must be important. The rest of the day, I'm going to go out and confirm everything I can to confirm that they are not worthy. Control the controls. The Raz is real. Turn to your neighbor and say, the Raz is real. Turn to your neighbor and say, I'm going to make it work for me. So we talked about, I want you to become focused on your environment. Yes. And, as entrepreneurs and business owners, can you control your whole day? Yes or no? No. What I would challenge you to do, write down challenge. Here's another challenge. Go ahead, write down another challenge. I want you to bookend your day with what you want to say. Bookend your day with what you want to say to yourself. It's not what the news wants to drive in there or social media is driving in there. So I would encourage you that the first hour and last hour for you to control it. I used to say no screens, as in TV and phones and everything else, but maybe you listen to a podcast where you have motivational videos and stuff on a phone, and that's great. But I would say control positive input that first hour and last hour. I believe that you can set the spirit of the day in that first hour and also feel at the end of the day, you set yourself up for success or failure based on the end of the day. Would you agree? Yes. You can't control the whole day. Your moms, your dads, your community leaders, your business owners, control that first hour. Don't go to email straight off. Don't go to social media straight off. Do something for you. Do something for you physically. Do something for yourself mentally. If you get outside, enjoy the sun, and you're reading something positive, or you're doing scriptures or affirmations or whatever that is for you. If you're on the treadmill, watching a great video or a podcast or whatever else, control what's going on mentally and physically that first hour and that last hour, right? And so, quit taking your laptops to bed. How about that? Control that last hour. Like, for an example, my wife, she loves Grey's Anatomy. So we'll stay up, we'll binge watch 4 or 5 Grey's Anatomy at a time. And then she'll say, hey, you ready for bed? But watch 4 or 5. She goes, all right, let's go to bed. It's like, the hell no. Hell no, I need to stay up and read for an hour to flush that stuff out. Right? It's all this stuff and blood and gore and a fiery bus crash and then go to bed. Like, I don't want that. And with that being said, I got to say this. Kids playing these games as they're going to bed and falling asleep. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's true. And if I go on to kid thing again, because I don't know, I'm a family man too. We talked about there's nature, then we talked about nurture. All the people that are in your environment during those very formative years. During those formative years, was there someone who said something, you saw something, or experienced something that has had an effect on your life, good or bad, even today? Anybody that had something in your formative years that affect your way of thinking or where you are today? How many people in this room have kids? You are the nurturer right now. Think about you heard something that changed your mindset for the next decades. You are in someone's nurture right now. Yeah. And not just kids. Maybe you're a softball coach. Maybe you help this club or organization. You're a mentor to someone if you know it or not. Someone's looking up to you. In this organization, someone's looking up to you. You might be looking up to somebody else, but there's someone else looking up to you. So what are you doing to be the best that you can be, not only for people at home, but in your organization here as well? So control controllable. So once again, control that first hour and control that last hour and bookend the day. All right, I'm going to take a quick breather. I felt the energy change in here. And yeah, this might have been a little more direct than you're expecting. But I woke up this morning, I said, I'm going to get real and get right today. because I refuse to hug any of you out of the business. Because not everybody's gonna renew their license at the end of this year. Everybody in this room will. It's not just survival. What separates survival to success to significance. You may write that down. Survival to success to significance. And everybody in this room may be in one of those categories. You're looking to go up, and maybe you've been up in this category and you've gone down. Life happens. It happens. Change will happen, good or bad, either way. But what separates survival to success, success to significance is that mindset. I just want to get real today because I care about you enough just to get real and not just rah you. Because once you leave this, I can get you jacked up and excited, but once you leave this room, it's up to you.
If they want to reach out to you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way. So you spell my name, Derek, D-E-R-E-K. Last name is S-C-H-E-N-C-K. So DerekShank.com is my website, and Derek Shank on all the social media as well. If you ever want to touch base with me, you can go to timewithcoachderek.com. It goes to my calendar. I have a bunch of 30-minute coaching sessions in there. If you say, hey, I love what you talked about. You went a little fast. Could you go a little bit more on that? If you just want to, connect. So timewithcoachderek.com, and that way I can share even more with you as well. So
Before we leave, you good there?
yes, sir. Good.
Awesome. All right, before we leave, Cindy has an announcement.
Oh, yes, right after this, you guys, in room 210, the smaller conference room, I have DC Solar coming. They called me and said there are tons of changes coming to solar right now. I need to get in front of you realtors and tell you what's going on. So if you guys would like to join us at the meeting, you're more than welcome to. It just down the hallway. And that'll be from 11 to 12.
Perfect. So right after this. All right, everybody. Well, that's all we have for today. Hope you enjoyed today's meeting. We'll see you next week at VCAR. Have a great one.